All right, here we go. Part 2 of our redraft 10-team PPR mock draft. This is rounds 10 through 20. This is where you find the sleepers. We've got analysis. We've got breakdowns. We've got the people for you to draft in those late rounds that could help you win your league. So you want to know who it is? Tune in, hit the like and sub. We got a great show for you. Let's go. What's up, everybody? I got a crew. Got my guy Brian, my guy Dan, and then Hype, the one and only Greg in the house. How's it going, fellas?
Good, man. How are you?
Man, ready to draft. Michael Pittman at the 10-1. Brian probably sniped, hoping he was going to make it back around. Chris is up at the 10-2. By the way, we have reached the halfway point, so rosters are full. We are into the bench. So now I feel like when you shift into the bench, you're looking for players that have potential to own a job, like high-end handcuffs, wide receivers that could pop off, especially young wide receivers. When I typically go heavy running back, I'll tag in some of those rookie wide receivers that are looking at, significant jobs, that have really good narratives in camp, and I think one of them probably goes right here, knowing Chris, but we'll see.
Yeah, he took Brian Robinson. I was really hoping he'd get back around. I think
he takes Jonnu Smith at the 10-2. Did not expect that. Let's see here.
Was that an auto pick?
It was not an auto pick.
Yeah, that's surprising. But hey,
that's a pick right there.
You never know. Jonnu could. I find it hard for him to take over Fryermuth completely, but Jonnu could have some use.
It's hard enough to get targets to the tight end as it is, and then you're gonna put him in a tight end committee situation.
Yeah.
I've got two good wide receivers that I could depend on. I've got several wide receivers in my queue that I'm going to take from here on. So I'm going to take a shot on somebody that got significant draft capital. I thought Chris was going to take them, but got significant draft capital for a team that doesn't typically spend draft capital on this position. So the possibility and the potential's there. I'm going to take Matthew Golden.
Hey, he's out there when it's just two wide receivers, so he seems to be the better bet over Jaden Reed right now.
Yeah.
I think Jaden Reed, I think those two run that offense. I think that there you got Kraft is going to kind of be in and out there, but the as far as the wide receiver group, it feels like it's going to run through those two, and you don't invest that kind of draft capital in a wide receiver if you're not going to play them, period, So buy, sell, use on the clock at the 10-4. So far on his team, he's got 3 running backs, R.J. Harvey, Caleb Johnson, and Pacheco, 1 tight end, T.J. Hawkinson, and all 5 wide receivers, Lamb, Nakua, Wilson, Harrison, and Worthy. So he tops it off here at the 10-4. So, and he goes Ramondre Stevenson.
That's right.
Under.
I can't go on. I can't talk on Ramondre. It's gonna be it's not gonna be
Doubling
good.
Up on tight ends again.
Pittman before Downs. Downs is gonna be the new Wandell. I don't know that.
That's a compliment, not really.
Yeah, Pittman has been fine every single year. Like, we'll see how that works out. Monty takes Mark Andrews, tight end, and then Dan, you take David Njoku at the 10-6.
Yeah, so I was waiting for Andrews to come off the board because that was going to tell me when to draft Njoku, because then that's when my tier completely drops and we start getting into like, all right, we're going to be streaming tight ends after this. So remember, this is PPR. Average points per game. Njoku was tight end 5, all right? And look, there's 2 things you want out of tight ends in order to have a chance at the top 5. The guy either needs touchdowns or needs a ton of targets. Njoku in only a handful of games played essentially last year. I just had it up in front of me and I lost it. He missed 6 games last year. He still had 97 targets. And that was with DTR and fumed Deshaun Watson and every other scrub quarterback. Like, he was like the only guy in that Browns receiving attack who didn't need Jameis Winston to be decent. The only one. Jerry Jeudy needed Jameis to be good. Cedric Tillman needed Jameis to be good. He was the only one who was actually consistent because he was getting featured in that offense. And when you have quarterbacks who have no arms, Kenny Pickett, Shedeur Sanders, Dylan Gabriel, you're going to target David Njoku constantly.
So you're a Flacco guy is what I'm hearing.
Well, I would. Yeah. They all throw it to the ball. They all throw the middle of the ball, middle of the field.
All right.
Scatterbo.
Scatterbo off the
Scatterbo goes off the clock 10-7.
before Tracy, right? Because Tracy's on the board, isn't
I think so. Yeah.
maybe not.
No.
Yeah, Tracy's already gone.
Yeah, he is. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, Scatty's. It's pretty well known that I'm a humongous Scat fan, and he went just before me, which bums me out. But he's gonna do well. But yeah, I took Warren because I think he still gets plenty of touches this year, and he is, featured in the pass game for them out of the backfield. And coming out of the 10th round, I'll take him as a third running back.
So you got Chris Rogers spreads the ball around. I see Jonu taking over for Firemouth, Jalen Warren, and Matthias said worst pick of this mock draft. Warren's sneaky. He's sneaky. I don't hate it, Hype. He's sneaky. So you got Shakir going at the 10-9, Pearsall at the 10-10. I like that pick. And J.K. Dobbins for you at the 11-1. Is he a viable guy or is he a smokescreen, Brian?
Well, right now, getting him in the 11th round, he doesn't have to be a viable guy for me. Right now he's a bench player for me. I'd love to be able to sneak him in as my second flex player, but it gives me that opportunity to get a piece of this Denver running game. And if he comes out to nothing, then, I drop him after week 3 and I move on. I make that decision, but I love the risk shot here in the 11th.
Yeah.
Love it.
Yeah, I agree. Dobbins is, if he came back around, I would have taken him. He's a great late round shot.
Yeah, Sean Payton uses multiple running backs. Period.
Yeah.
We know he can get 2 running backs fantasy football featured. Like it wouldn't shock me if you told me both RJ Harvey and Dobbins were both top 25 running backs.
Yeah. Well,
so we got J.K. Dobbins. Tucker Kraft goes the 11-2.
Nice pick.
You got Chris hating that pick. I was banking on Kraft, and then Hype, you're up at the 11-3.
Yeah, so to go back to Downs here, being the next Wan'Dale Robinson, I don't think I would call that necessarily good either, but he the impact rate I was talking about with 14 points a game and at least 60% of your games, he hit that. He was one of the 14 players that hit it last year, so he's still just fine with AR playing. He still gets plenty of points. He just has some games where he basically disappears, but getting him in the 11th round is insane, so I'll take him all day. Right?
I like that. Yeah.
Where it is a compliment is that, remember, Wan'Dale Robinson with Daniel Jones, especially if he winds up being the starter, had 140 targets. The volume was there off the chain because we're talking about guys who target the hell out of the middle of the field. Jones is one of those guys. That's where Pittman gets left out. Alec Pierce gets left out. Downs and Warren are the guys who might be more featured if they go the Jones option.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So I'm up on the board. So this is another one I don't normally do, but I feel like this is too good a value at this point. So we don't know who the wide receiver 1 for the Green Bay Packers is truly going to be.
They don't have a wide receiver 1. That's the problem.
And that's part of the problem, 100%. But I will say this, and I think I said this on my show a couple of days ago.
Wait, what show is that?
One of these Operation Domination, baby, you know it.
Yeah.
One of these wide receivers for the Packers are too low. Now, we may not necessarily know exactly which one it is, but one of them's too low. And for the first 5 weeks of the season, Jaden Reed was a wide receiver 1. The issue is that they use him in a Debo-light role. And unlike Debo, when it's 2 receiver sets, he doesn't typically get out there, right? They got to go 3 receiver sets to get him out there. But I think this guy is more talented than what he has gotten to play. Let's just put it that way. Jordan Love was not great last year. Matt LaFleur is like an every other year coach where you see the offense just kind of spike on those odd years. I think there's a chance here, and I'm taking him in the 10th round for some spike weeks.
That's my biggest fear is the spike weeks. Last year, only 35% of his games did he get over 10 points. He only had a 16% target share as well. So
100%.
He needs to blow up like he did in those 2 of those first 4 or 5 games. And that's just my biggest thing is I always pick the wrong week. So those players aren't built for me. I guarantee you when I start those types of players, you put them on your bench, folks. That's just how it works. So I just don't have the ability to work with a player like that. But I agree there are going to be some points, and I want a piece of that Green Bay offense.
Ben said Reed is so good with the ball in his hand, sick handles. Good call there. And then we got, after Jaden Reed, we got Emeka Egbuka at the 11-6, Najee Harris at the 11-7. He's buy, sell, use, stacking running backs now. I really like it. I'm on the clock, and when I go running back heavy, and I have a couple of stud wide receivers, and this is how I did really well last year. I am not afraid of rookies, especially at the wide receiver position. That is like I'm willing to risk it because they're cheap, and who knows? And I don't know if you guys have seen the tape coming out of Houston on this guy in this offense, but I'm excited. I'm going to take Jaden Higgins right here.
I hate you. I was hoping he was going to fall in the next round.
Keep dreaming, baby. Bo Nix goes to the 11-9, followed by Darnell Mooney at the 11-10, Keon Coleman at the 12-1. Chris is back on the clock at the 12-2. Whew. Yeah, sorry guys. I really like Jaden Higgins. Yeah. I think that he can do what they hoped Stephon Diggs would do. And even if Nico has any, if we go by history, he typically misses time. I just think Jaden Higgins has the opportunity to blow.
Nico doesn't need the miss time for Jaden Higgins to blow up. Stephon Diggs,
I agree.
Tank Dell was awesome, even with Nico Collins going off. This offense has room with CJ Stroud as a point guard for 2 wide receivers, maybe 3, but at least 2 wide receivers to get the deal done. I love Jaden Higgins pick.
This offensive line is trash too. So if the running game can't get going, they're going to be throwing the ball a lot, kind of like they were at the beginning when they had 3 viable wide receivers. So I love the pick as well.
Yeah, the Diggs and Collins were just helping each other out on the field the whole year. They were both playing great. Nico's best games were when Diggs was on the field. So when they have 2 to go to, Stroud will find the open guy and throw them the ball.
Yeah. Man, this pick is there's nobody of value that I like. Everybody that I want is so far below where we are now currently in the draft. Which is a really interesting place.
Get that second quarterback, man. Come on.
I don't have a quarterback yet.
Oh. Push that
button. That's why I'm debating. I mean, I guess
there's only one choice you can make after what you drafted in the first 3 rounds. What are you talking about?
Push it.
I mean, sure, yes. I have 0 shares of this quarterback, but I can get behind it. I can take actually like a couple better, but again, based on the stack that you're so highlighting, I guess I could take Brock Purdy right here.
12th round, why not?
Yeah, well, you got George Kittle, you got CMC. They might be the 2 top targets he has the year anyway.
Oh yeah, you have 2. Okay, this is the Niner team over here. All right.
Yeah, I don't hate, and like I said, the people that I want, I've got people that down the roster line that I really want. So I may go ahead and grab my
Luther Burden.
Luther Burden's somebody that I thought about. I think where you said DJ Moore could be the Amon-Ra, I think Luther Burden can be the Amon-Ra. I think Luther Burden's a significant talent. I like that pick a lot from Matt at Football Guys. Dan, you're on the clock.
Yeah, so this is where I would, if I had an IR spot, I would take Brandon Ayuk. This is a mock draft. We don't have IR spots. I'm not taking Brandon Ayuk, but I just kind of wanted to throw it out there. This is where you take a shot on that. A guy who maybe second half of the season comes back and plays really well in the playoffs. Just wanted to put that out there. Anyway, getting back to my pick here, I'm going to take my home run threat again. At this point, we have our starting lineups in place. We even have our top bench guys in place that we know we can plug and play on a week-to-week basis. Now I want to take somebody who has a chance to win me a league in the second half of the year. And that to me is Bashal Tuden.
No!
Nice. Okay. All right.
All right, sounds like sniped again for Brian. Brian, you had the first overall pick. You're supposed to be unsnipeable.
I reached on J.K. Dobbins out the wazoo because I figured this crap was going to keep happening. Oh man,
I gotta be honest, I don't get it. I'm not being offended. I just consensus. I don't understand the Tootin thing. There's both Tank and ETN have very their roles are instilled in the offense in the running game. So for me, I don't think that Tootin's a bad player by any means. I just the way that it's set up, those guys have been in the team for a while. I don't know if this is the year that Tootin does it. I think it might be another year or two.
It may be not. And again, this is the lottery pick that we're talking about here. But also, both the guys you just mentioned are not part of this regime. They weren't part of the Liam Cohen regime. Bashal Tootin is part of that regime. And I have not seen a guy who has a profile type as close to Jamal Charles as Bashal Tootin does. Tank Bigsby was a nice player, but it wasn't always consistent. We know what his limitations kind of are. Travis Etienne, I don't know. He looked like he was 35 years old playing out there last year. Now, I think his role as a receiver is set, but we also saw that even if Cohen were to use him, let's say in Rachaad White vein, that leaves the door open for somebody. And you're leaning on Tank because you want him first 2 downs to be explosive, break off those bigger runs. Well, Tootin's more explosive. So the question is going to be the fumbles, right? Can he get the fumbles under control? Because otherwise he'll never overtake them. Don't disagree with you 100% there. But Cohen's big claim to fame, the reason why the Bucs became the 4th best scoring offense in the NFL last season, everyone looks at Baker and the passing attack. It was because they committed to the run game and it opened up all the passing lanes. That's what Liam Cohen's going to try to commit to for this team to make things easier on Trevor Lawrence.
Yeah.
I love Matthias and sliding in here with this.
Well, I was gonna go with Charbonnet, and then he got snagged. So this one might be a little controversial, but I want to go with someone who's got the potential for some explosiveness. I know there's been talk about him in camp right now, but I think there's a shot that he can get some good plays down the stretch in the season.
I mean, he's kind of the other version of Bashal, right? Jaden Blue.
Yeah, kind of. He's just Jaden Blue's also Gibbs 2.0. Just throwing that one out.
Oh my goodness! Get out of here! Get out of here!
Jaden Blue's Jahmyr Gibbs. We got some big claims here. I like it.
No, not that deep. I'm being a little facetious, but I think he's got that that style of play light. Yeah, he's got explosiveness at least. So if he can not be lazy, if that stuff's true, and just keep the ball security better, then I think he has a chance at least maybe down the road in the season to be worth something.
So you got Bashal Tootin at the 12.6, Zach Charbonnet at the 12.7, Jaden Blue at the 12.8, Tajay Spears goes at the 12.9, and Benjamin McCown saying, do not say Gibbs 2.0. Mad Scientist saying Bigsby is the RB1 in Jacksonville. Write it down. We shall see. And Brian, you're on the clock at the turn, 12-10 and 13-1. What's going to happen?
Charbonnet, Spears, all in the queue. I'm a big Spears guy. I think with the injury issues that we had last year, I think he's going to be a lot more of this offense. The offensive line did get a lot better. Callahan, the offense that they brought in, their second-year guy, he wants to get the ball moving more. So I was all for that. Oh, boy. At this pick, all right, yeah, here we go. I'm putting some Cleveland on the board. Let's get Jerome Ford. We've got lots of situations here building around, rookie Judkins, but if the defense doesn't lock him up, someone else might. So I think I'm going to go ahead and take the pass catcher in this backfield. It's a PPR league, so give me Ford. Oh man,
did he get an injury? Isn't he hurt right now?
Yeah, he hasn't even practiced yet.
It's July. We got this.
Yeah, no.
It is.
I mean, all the players. I mean, what was it? Mooney just popped up with a shoulder injury too. We've got players getting hurt left and right.
Yeah, it's round 12. It makes me a little worried. I think I'd rather take Samson before.
Matthias said, when's the Tesla pick coming? I know it's coming. Look, he's on my docket. I don't know about this league, but Kyle Pitts at 13.
Give me the can pipe. I'm going to get hurt again. Let's do it. Let's do it. Hurt me. Hurt me. I'm ready.
Hey, look, if you need a boomer bust shot, like a high upside play that could be a bust, but then could also be electric. It's a good take. I mean, it's tight end.
Yeah.
Most people in 10-team leagues, like they stream tight ends. Same thing, they stream quarterback. We have 18 roster spots here, so you might get to take 2 at each position. But, I don't hate the pick. I like it. Tyler Warren going at the 13-2. And Hype, you're back on the clock. Chris said we'll never touch Pitts again. Laugh out loud. All right, Hype, you're on the clock.
Yeah, just something I wanted to point out real quick. If you look at the way the draft board is going, and a lot of them do, like if you notice the rookie running backs, where they're getting picked compared to where rookie wide receivers are getting picked, something that I've been kind of toting since this draft class is that I think the running back class is going to compete for the 2017 running back class for being one of the best in like football. So I just wanted to point that out. I think it's going to be an outstanding running back class. Tank Bigsby. Might as well just take a guy who's getting all the running reps, round 13. Easy.
All right. Coach Chase on the clock at 13-4. I hope the Bigsby pick doesn't work out. I'm leaning on ETN there. But no, I like Bigsby, and I like Bigsby for the red zone. So we shall see. Coach Chase on the clock, the 13-4. And we'll see who he takes right here. And it's Brandon Ayuk taking the shot.
Yeah.
Taking the shot. You look at his wide receivers. You got Godwin, you got Ayuk. He's definitely taking some shots on some guys. I like that. Dan, you take Kyle Williams.
Yeah, so I'm a proponent of Kyle Williams throughout the draft process. I know he seems to be a controversial player. There's some people who like him a lot. There's some people who hate him completely. I see a guy who is good with yards after the catch. I see a guy who could play the slot receiver to Josh McDaniels' offense with a more physical body, which is typically what he likes. I don't think Pop Douglas is the type of slot receiver Josh McDaniels really wants to have out there. And then on top of it, Stephon Diggs, I know it's been impressive that he is already back and healthy and practicing, and that's great for him. He's still 32 years old, coming off an ACL injury, who might be asked to play the perimeter. I don't know how effective he's necessarily going to be. I think there's an outside shot Kyle Williams could be the alpha by the end of the season for the Patriots.
Yeah. So I'm gonna go here. Well, you got Rachaad White goes to the 13-6. You got Rashid Shaheed at the 13-7. I'm on the clock at the 13-8, and I'm gonna take one of my high-end handcuffs this season, and I'm gonna draft Trey Benson right here. I know you thought I was going to go Garindo to put that behind CMC, but I really think that Benson could make a play this year, and it's worth a long shot in round 13 to see. Austin Eckler goes to 13-9. Caleb Williams at the 13-10. Ray Davis at the 14-1. I love that pick. Ray Davis really started to come on. He's been one of my late grabs. Chris is on the clock. We got I Love Green Salsa over on Twitch. Hi, what's up? Thanks for tuning in. Chris saying lock up the backfield. I'm not going to do that yet. Although I might can do it this round, but I think I'm going to go somewhere else.
Okay. Do you guys know when you get that feel, like when there's a player that you have no data to back it, you just feel good about a guy or bad about a guy? Kyle Williams is that. Like, I don't know why. I just feel good. Like there's something about him that I feel like he's gonna be good. Yeah, it's one of those feelings I have. I don't know.
Well, Chris is over there. He's really struggling with this pick. I'm in here at the 14-2, really debating. He said, stop talking about it. I like the Marvin Mims pick. I think that's a great pick there, especially, you look at his wide receivers, Amon-Ra, JSN, Addison, Judy. You add Mims, definitely big play capabilities. I'm going to go out on a limb. I've got a slew of running backs. You've already said it. Mixon is already banged up. And I don't care, blown knee, 3 blown knees. He's came back from every blown knee.
Wheelchair. Let's go, baby.
And out of the wheelchair, I think that Nick Chubb could take over this backfield. And to me, it's worth a 14-round running back pick for somebody that's traditionally, historically been inside, or around the top 15 every single season that he's played, even up to 12 games. 2020. I mean, now of recent, but even last year, it wasn't that bad until the injury. So I like Houston. I'm just gonna take the shot. I think Chubb is better than Joe Mixon.
When he was healthy.
Yeah.
I think he's better than Mixon on half a leg.
We're drafting for the 2025 season, right?
Yeah. Chubb I think he can definitely earn reps and earn a spot on the team.
And you look at it, it's just those two.
Yeah.
It's Chubb and Mixon. And Mixon
patience on the quarterback.
Gets banged up.
Getting Dak down here in the 14th. That's the way you do it in a single quarterback league.
I should have waited. But
Chris said I was going to go Chubb too. Monty said, I love Chubb. I love Green Salsa said, I have a feeling that Josh Jacobs will finish top 5 in rushing yards this year. He's a sleeper. Appreciate the feedback. Make sure you subscribe to the Twitch channel. By the way, if you're tuned in, like, subscribe, make comments on the draft board. We are rocking and rolling. Garindo goes at the 14-6. So far we got Dak Prescott 14-4, Jared Goff at the 14-5, Garindo at the 14-6, and to you, Dan, I like that pick if CMC gets hurt. Chase on. So, do you think CMC gets hurt? Like, do you think Garindo has a spot even if CMC's healthy?
Well, I mean, the fan in me doesn't want to see CMC get hurt, of course, but Garindo is a better version of Raheem Mostert when he's getting all the work. And we already kind of saw a little blip of that. Now, the caveat that he has and this goes back to college, he struggles with soft tissue injuries. Now, from what I've heard from camp, who knows how true it is? I don't get to see the guy in person, but it's that he's in a lot better shape. He did a lot to try to maintain that he is not going to have those type of injuries this season. He did a lot of work on that. Hopefully that winds up being true. But the explosiveness with the combination of that offense, we know the ceiling is top 12 if he's going to get that kind of workload.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
All right, Justin Herbert goes at the 14-7. Hype, you're on the clock with the 14-8.
Yeah, I think this is I can probably actually wait on that. I'm going to who do I like here? You know what? Why not? Let me go with Hollywood.
Hollywood.
Yeah. The Chiefs are gonna try to throw that ball. They're coming on like a bit of I don't like to call it a revenge tour. They've been to the AFC Championship or Super Bowl for 5 years, but after the beatdown they took, I think Mahomes wants to kind of take back his alpha, and I feel like there's going to be a lot of throwing going on. So Brown in the 14th feels pretty good.
Yeah, no, I like it. I'm still waiting for them to see what they can do with them.
Mm-hmm.
Justin Fields goes to the 14-9, even after the news today. Apparently it wasn't anything serious. He ran and got on the cart, but it makes you worry about the season. And then, Brian, you take Roschon Johnson at the 14-10 and up at the 15-1, 4 rounds left to go in our mock.
Yeah, I like Swift a lot at ADP price, but just the off chance that we get 2 running backs working in this system, I love Roschon Johnson as a flyer pick this late into it.
Don't sleep on the 7th round pick, Kyle Monungai.
Oh, yeah.
You're right.
Did you see him in the drills there?
Come on, Dan. You got to let me lead up to my next pick here. Kyle Monungai now.
Yeah.
No, look, I get it. My only tight end right now is Pitts, and that's scary to me. So here I'm probably going to double up. But look, when you're looking to stream tight end, it's kind of like walking around a college party. Sometimes you just go and look for some strange. So that's what I'm taking.
Nice.
Yeah. What a play on words. That's amazing. All right. Dynasty Big Mac takes Cedric Tillman at the 15-2. I really like that pick, especially if Flacco's throwing the football.
Flacco's throwing the football.
15-3.
The Johnson pick's great. He unfortunately was in the shadow of Bijan, so he got an unfair shot at getting into the league because he's actually really great, man. I did some work on him back in his draft class. He's awesome, so I love him, and hopefully Ben Johnson gets to let him shine this year. And for this pick, I'm going with who I consider to be quite possibly the best handcuff. He's even got a little bit of standalone value, and it's Tyler Algier. The guy gets touches even when Bijan's on the field, and God forbid, knock on wood, he goes down. Tyler Algier is a league winner.
He's definitely a great handcuff, but they did start steering away from him a little bit in the second half of the season. A big reason, by the way, why Bijan's my number one running back heading into this year is because they did start to consolidate a little bit around him. But yeah, I mean, great handcuff. By the way, I'm going to take another great handcuff too, and that's Jalen Wright behind Von Achan.
Yeah,
so I love that. One I was hoping for that would come back to me. So look, Achan, he held up last year really well, admirable. He's still very, very small. And that offense, the only thing that was still functioning the way that we would expect it to, and with Mike McDaniel, is the usage of the running back. Jalen Wright, with his explosiveness, he's not quite the pass catcher Devon Achan is. Don't get me twisted, but he can do a lot of similar things within that offense. So I like that pick there.
Yeah, good pick. I like Wright.
First defense off the board.
So we got Jalen Wright's great. First defense off the clock. Broncos defense goes to Matt from Football Guys, and let's see, and it said let's get weird, and then buy sell use on the clock from Player Profiler. Pick 1570. Already got his quarterback in Dak Prescott. Let's see if he continues to add.
Yeah. Jalen Wright also, just to go on to that, something about Achan last year. I didn't even know this. He had like no touches inside the 5, and he had I think it was a total of 5, and all of them netted -3 yards, and he got 1 touchdown out of them. So I do think that them getting they got Hampton and they have Wright. I think they're trying to get some thumper in there, and I do think Wright will get a little more work this year and possibly have some standalone value.
And loving it. So we've got, let's see, defense is more valuable than all these running backs getting dropped after week 1. Look, it's a 10-team league. And a 10-team league, I feel like defenses and kickers are very streamable. They're going to be my last 2 picks. I mean, if I have a top 10 defense, I'm happy, right? That's great. I'm going to get decent fantasy production. If I have a top 10 kicker, I'm happy, and you're going to get one of those. Come on. And we got our first auto draft. Buy sell you takes Jake Ferguson, and I'm on the clock. I am going to go here, and I already mentioned it in another show. Call me a little bit crazy, but I'm going to take a veteran right here again, and I'm going to take DeAndre Hopkins at the 15-8. I think there's a world where he finds relevance and significant relevance. Lamar, I feel like, has not had, outside of Andrews, somebody that he can go deep with, and so really excited about that pick.
Hopkins can, well, I mean, I guess you are building a handicap ramp. I just realized that, so that's okay.
Look, I'll be fine. This is pick 14 and 15. Let me play handicap.
Yeah.
Chris said, Tyler, you suck. Sniped again. That's fine. Blake Corum goes to the 15-9. Dalton Kincaid goes to the 15-10. Rashad Bateman at the 16-1. So just for the sake of kind of leveling out my roster here, and going for, another quarterback that I can layer in with a pass-catching wide receiver and a pass-catching running back, kind of like I did Brock Purdy. I'm going to go ahead and take Trevor Lawrence here. I think his ADP is way, way low for a revamped offense. I mean, he's finally got a receiver that plays cornerback, first of all, right, and can go up and catch the high balls, can catch the corner routes. So he has that in Travis Hunter. He has his deep threat. Brenton Strange showed he can be a good tight end. I really think that he can do well in this offense. So, I mean, to get him in essentially the last pick before I go, defense and kicker, I don't hate it. J.J. McCarthy goes at the 16-4. Pat Bryant at the 16-5 to Matt from Football Guys. And Dan, you were on the clock. Dev said Bateman disrespect. Hopkins will own Bateman. Be real.
They just paid Bateman, to be fair.
And Hopkins will dunk on Bateman's head.
Okay.
Again, it's
even at the age of
2025.
43.
So I was about to just tap this because there's a certain
Yes,
guy
sir,
here
Chase.
I usually take in best ball quite consistently, but there's somebody else here who I guess I just didn't realize was available, and this is kind of throwing me a loop. I really wouldn't normally do 3 running backs in a row this late, but all the Jets keep talking about is how they're going to involve Braylon Allen.
Yeah.
It's not just going to be Breece Hall. And if anything, so you're talking about, again, we're talking about Detroit, Tanner Engstrand coming over. It's a real likely scenario. He views Braylon Allen as another bigger version, frankly, of David Montgomery, where Breece Hall's not getting touches inside the 5-yard line and is the Braylon Allen show. Now, you can say the Jets offense, how often is that going to happen? We'll have to see. And I know that I think it was after week 6, Braylon Allen was only averaging about 3.2 yards per carry, somewhere around there. Remember, he was 20 years old. Like, this guy is super young, getting acclimated to the NFL, getting his body acclimated to the NFL. We saw him be explosive in Wisconsin. Breece Hall, who has an injury history along with it. I'm just taking potential league winners here and seeing what pops.
I like it. There was a lot of stuff about the third string running back there, or
Isaiah Davis.
Yeah, Isaiah Davis.
Yeah.
A lot of stuff about him really popping in the backfield. I think it'll be interesting. I think that they are gearing up to let Breece Hall ride. And they've got 2 good running backs that they can pair that are very different players. So,
well, yeah, because even the Isaiah Davis thing, right? He's still a different type of running back, so he wouldn't take Braylon Allen's role, even if that were to happen.
Yeah.
Got Wandale going at the 16-7, the 16-8 hype. You're on the clock.
Yeah. Just real quick, just give me a piece of the Bills offense in the 15th round.
I love the Josh Palmer pick.
Yeah. He's like so sneaky this year. People just aren't paying attention that he went there. He's going to be an option for Josh. So he'll be a great late round flyer.
Got Dynasty Big Mac taking Brashard Smith, real sneaky, a Jerick McKinnon type player in that offense. I think that he could do really well. And then Brian, you get your second quarterback and your first defense. Now you take. So I love the Drake May pick, but I'm interested. You take the second defense. Broncos already gone. You take the second defense, and out of all defenses, you go Washington Commanders. Tell us why.
Because I'm a streaming defense kind of guy. And do you know they play week 1? Russell freaking Wilson. So give me the Commanders. I know it's not a great defense, but yeah, it's playing the Giants. So their implied team, they're not going to get 3 touchdowns. Their team total is under 20 points or under 21 points. So yeah, give me the Commanders, and I'm sure I'll end up dropping them the following week when they play Green Bay.
All right. Seahawks go at the 17-2. Greg on the clock.
Yeah. So, real quick, in my main home league that I've been in for years with all my buddies, we boosted the defenses to make them a little more important. We added like an extra point for sacks, an extra point for picks. You don't get punished as hard for like the first few scores, and it makes it so they're going like round 9 or 10 usually, and it's actually the most fun thing I've ever done. It's really cool. It adds a different layer to the league. But anyway, the pick that I'm gonna go with here is going to be the same thing with the streaming defense. San Francisco. You don't really have to though. They have the easiest schedule, so why not just take them?
All right. San Francisco at the 17-3.
You bum.
Yeah. Dude, everyone talks about their easy schedule. Get their defense.
Yeah, starting off against Seattle and then New Orleans. Yeah, I love that opening schedule.
Yeah. Same.
He said, I like that. Matthias said, I like that guy's league. He loves your league.
Yeah, it's so much fun. And kickers are like a big deal. We haven't changed their points, but it's this running thing in the league. It's a lot of fun. We have a good time.
Pittsburgh Steelers go at the 17-4. So we're seeing a defensive run, so people are valuing defense over kicker. I'm curious if it's going to shift at any point here. Dan, you're on the clock at the 17-5, and you take kicker. Speaking of, Brandon Aubrey, first kicker off the board there to Dan. Like that pick. Matt from Football Guys is on the clock. Aubrey, number 1, I mean, I think it's in, but what's your thought? You think that offense just continues to move?
Well, yeah, and also when you don't have maybe the strongest running game in the world, you're going to settle for field goals, and Aldridge can kick a lot of 50-yarders, which is where you get the extra points from, right? So, and with kickers, you can stream both defenses and kickers, but if you get an elite kicker, it's a lot easier to hold on to them than I think even an elite defense, because sometimes when you have an elite defense match up against a tough offense, you still don't necessarily want to play them. Kickers, if you have an elite one, you can kind of just ride them and let them play there. You don't really have to think about the position again.
Aubrey can kick it from his own 30. Put him on New Orleans. He's getting points. Like,
Yeah,
the dude's an animal.
Bills go at the 17-7. I like the Bills pick a lot. Obviously they got a ton more pass rushers going into this season. Right here at the 17-8, depending on who's available, it's usually an internal debate for me on who I like, somewhere between Houston, Detroit, and Philly. And Philly's young defense, not losing. I feel like I've got to go there. And then the next tier for me would be that Houston, Detroit arena, but I'm going to take Philly here.
I like Houston because of the weaker division. The Eagles got to play Washington and Dallas 4 times total. So I get what you're saying. I don't hate the Eagles pick at all. It just, if I'm weighing the two, I think I go Houston, especially because Houston's defense showed that they're pretty good last year. So
Eagles also open it up against Dallas, and then they get Kansas City, the Rams, Tampa Bay, and Denver. So, it's a tough battle. They can do it. They definitely have the best defense in the league, but are they going to be giving you that high ceiling there week 2 through 5?
Their secondary dropped a tier at least. They lost everyone left and a couple of their front 7, and they replaced them with plenty of good players. I just think there is a little bit of a step back for that defense this year.
Yeah.
So we got Jake Bates at the 17-9. I like that pick. Chris Boswell at the 17-10. Rams defense goes at the 18-1.
Sneaky.
Chris on the clock at the 18-2. It looks like he needs to take a defense. Wondering who he's going to go with. And probably after that, he goes Packers defense there at the 18-2. Probably letting a little bit of his fandom shine. For me here, and maybe it's a hot mess, but I don't know if I can do that. Kicker's probably going to be something that I'm going to move around and definitely going to stream. But in the beginning, I like to get a kicker on an offense that moves the ball because I want consistent opportunity to get in kicking range. And, so he's been very good, automatic for a long time. I'm just going to take Butker there. I know that I'll get decent points. Jake Moody at the 18-4, and Matt from Football Guys is on. Like Chris said, go Pack, go. They were number 4 defense. Sneaky.
Yeah.
Tyler Bass.
The Rams are they could have a number in fantasy, at least a number 1 defense. They are so quietly good that I don't think enough people are really paying attention to that. That Rams defense has become something again.
Jake Moody comes off the board. He's not going to win the kicker battle. That's interesting.
Wow.
Arizona. That's interesting pick. Tell us about that, Dan. Why Arizona?
They play the Saints week 1.
Oh, yeah. Good call.
Fair enough. I'm thinking season long, guys you want that you want a top 10 defense from last year, and then you go Arizona. That was
they made a lot of investments into their defense. I love they drafted Will Johnson that was a steal in the 2nd round. I know Walter Nolan's not quite practicing yet, but they did make some improvements. But the biggest thing is that they play the Saints week 1, and I'll be streaming.
Yeah. And that's what when you're making this pick and you're going in, you're either trying to get a defense like the Eagles, right? Last year, despite everybody they played, finished as a top 5 defense. You either get somebody like that 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 you're gonna try to ride the season and just plug and play and leave, or you stream. And if you're streaming, you may take a defense like Arizona that plays a weak offense week 1. And I really like that, knowing what you're doing. Because I feel like you went the other way. Your kicker for you is you're sit and forget it, and you're committed to streaming the. Looks like you're committed to streaming the tight end and the defense.
Oh, I'm not gonna have to stream Njoku. That's a solid 9 points in my bucket every week. I don't care.
All right, Hype on the clock.
Yeah. I did not mean to kick Dicker, but that's okay. I'll take him. The offense moves enough. I meant to go Chase McLaughlin there. Don't know. I just clicked, but yeah, the offense that moves enough. I'll take Dicker. No problem.
I like Fairburn at the 18-2. And Brian, Mr. Irrelevant, who is the kicker that is going to make everything happen for your team?
I mean, Ryland's kind of the guy I'm looking at for Arizona. Yeah, you play Saints week 1, but also if you look at Vegas's totals, Arizona has the highest implied total on the entire season. So points means kickers do something. But I'll figure out that on Sunday morning because right now I really don't care about having my kicker. So I'm going to take Romeo Dobbs. I said I wanted a piece of the Packers, and this being PPR, this is the guy that's out there when there's 2 wide receivers or 3 wide receivers. So I'll figure out who I drop on Sunday morning, pick me up a kicker. But at this point, when I draft this early, I don't really like taking my kicker in defense.
You're breaking the rules, Brian. It's a
Yeah, we're not on ESPN. They don't force you to take that. Yeah, I learned that rule on ESPN on Wednesday on that draft.
Hey, look, Chris loves it. Got some Dubs love. Make sure you hit the like and subscribe button. We're going to quickly kind of go through these rosters. And let me flip over to the where we can actually see the roster. So we'll start with Brian. So Brian, obviously without the kicker, but it looks like a starting lineup. Kyler Murray, Bijan, Chase Brown, AJ Brown, DK Metcalf, Kyle Pitts, James Conner, Jalen Waddle, and then with the ability to put in Travis Hunter, Stephon Diggs, Ricky Pearsall. So there you go, roster 1. Matthias said no kicker I'm fine with. I also like taking players to put in the IR slot right away. Dan talked about that with Ayuk. Chris said had a great time. All right, then moving over to the next up, Hype. Oh, wrong roster. Hype. Baker, Gibbs, Bucky Irving, Devontae Adams, DJ Moore, McBride, Pickens, Olave, Dicker, San Francisco, and you can kind of look at that bench there. Definitely some potential players there. I like that. Man, the running backs make me happy.
Yeah, it feels good.
Moving over to Dan on the show here. Got Jalen Hurts, Genty, Walker, Nico, Ladd, and Njoku, Swift, Flowers, with the ability to pop in a Javonte, a Reed, a Juwan Jennings, Kyle Williams potentially there right off the cuff, like that roster. And then
the floor of that team is really good. He has a good floor.
Moving over to my roster, you got Purdy, McCaffrey, Kamara, Brian Thomas, McLaurin, Kittle, Travion Henderson, Pollard, Butker, with the ability to kind of switch out that flex to Kelsey, ETN, Higgins, Golden, or even Chubb Hopkins, who could start towards the beginning of the season. You guys let us know in the comments which roster you like the most. Guys, what do you think? Is there, even if it's like one of the other drafters from the draft, is there any teams that really like stand out to you?
The highlighted guy there, Johnny Main, him getting starting with Henry, getting Cortland Sutton in the 5th, Ridley in the 7th is. I didn't pay attention to when Ridley went. I really like him this year, and that feels like an awesome pick. And Ingram in the 8th. I mean, this guy got a lot of good value. I like his team. It looks really good.
Yeah, so just real quick, I mean, just everybody hit a roster, obviously not your own. You can pick somebody on the shows, but just not your own roster, one that you really like the build of going into the season. So, Hype, you really like Johnny Main's roster. What about you, Brian?
I really like the buy and sell here, Team 7. I'm not a huge fan of the Hawkinson pick, but outside of that, took the wide receiver value that was there and was patient. And I think kind of kicked, tore it up with the running back. Love the upside with Harvey. Caleb Johnson, I'm really into this year as well. Pacheco, it's just stupid value for a guy that, and I get he's on the last year of his contract. We've got a 7th rounder that everybody's just so hyped about, but the guy should get plenty of work. Stevenson, things start falling off, but all in all, we've seen McDaniel. It's usually 2 running backs there, so I'm sure he's going to get some work. And then you got the upside with Trey Harris as well.
Yeah, he would very much did the let the draft come to you strategy there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
There's two quarterbacks there at the end, Dak and JJ. So much upside. Easily could both be top, 5 to 10 quarterbacks right there.
Yeah, Dak's like top 5 as long as he's healthy.
When he stacked Dak with Lamb, so like that a
Oh,
lot.
yeah, me too. Yeah.
What about you, Dan?
I think Dan was looking at Team 1.
Team one's not bad. Team one is not bad.
Yeah.
So it's funny. I really liked how Dynasty started his draft. Like I like the Jamar Chase pick at number 2, and then Drake London. Jonathan Taylor in the 3rd round, I think, is an absolute steal. If Taylor stays healthy, he does have potential to be a top 5 running back. And even Rashid, let's say he gets 6-game suspension. I think Travis Kelce, if he's not toast, he's borderline toast. That offense, until I see it, I'm not going to project them to bounce back to what they were 3 years ago. I think that offense now centers around whoever that middle of the field target is. That's Rashid Rice. So, like, when you go into the second half of the season, that's a really good core with Chuba Hubbard and Jameson Williams, who I don't think we've seen the best out of. It gets a little wonky when we're getting the Judkins. Mahomes going late is fine. He's going for a stack there later on. Dunze has some upside. We haven't seen the best of him yet, and he takes some shots later on. So I do like Dynasty's team quite a bit.
Yeah, the 11th round Kraft is a good grab for that team, and
yeah,
he can wait on Rice with JMO being there. So yeah, that's a good team.
Awesome. I think everybody had a good balanced roster in this thing. I personally freaking love my roster. I think that this roster is going to bring a ship, but that's just me pumping.
Really good, or it's going to get really old really fast. It's going to be in the hospital, or it's going to be the championship.
This is redraft.
It's all grandfathers and grandchildren.
Look, I feel like in redraft you can't be afraid of age, but I also balance. It's like you said. It was like 30, 32, or 20, 20, 23. Yeah. But I mean. I'm excited. If I drafted this team in my actual redraft league, I'd be pretty pumped. I really do like buy, sell you as far as the wide receivers go. I like Johnny Main's team. I think he really got some good value. Like he got Derrick Henry, Breece Hall. Amarian, I think, is more – I think it's going to take a little bit longer, but he doesn't really need him to do immediate killer production. But then you got Malik, and then he did a really good job grabbing value players like Cortland Sutton, Calvin Ridley, Pittman. Like I really like those picks. And even in the show, like I love Brian. I love yours. Bijan, Chase Brown, James Conner. You get AJ Brown. I don't like DK Metcalf, but I just that's nothing. It just is me. It's a personal thing. But Waddle,
you didn't snipe me. I wouldn't have to do this. But
I think Hunter could potentially have a lot of touchdowns this season. I really like that. I like Kyle Pitts' high upside, hype. Gibbs, Irving. I think it's a great running back combo. You grab definitely, I think, a top 5 tight end in McBride, and then Adams. Don't love DJ Moore. Love Pickens. I think Pickens has a huge season this year, and I mean he's already been tearing it up in camp, and I just think like it's like the David Montgomery Gibbs, like you get the Lamb and Pickens. It's like such a good duo. Like there's two good alphas on each side. Throw in somebody else in the slot that can kind of move around. I really like that offense for Dak. Probably the best wide receiver group he's had. With Pickens there.
Tyler, your team, if like some of the ifs are answered in the right way, is actually insanely good. Like if McCaffrey stays healthy, you got Henderson on the flex. Like that's Kittle. I mean, Kittle's you have actually a pretty stacked team, to be honest.
But I'm good with if, and then Dan,
I'm good with it.
Same thing, dude. I am like, you've got to be able to risk it. Like, what I'm saying? Like you can take the floor plays, but you don't win with the floor plays.
Scared money don't make money.
Right. Like, and these players, like, you got like, some of these players that you're getting so late at value, like give me a D-Hop or a Chubb. Like you're taking dart throws there anyways. So why not dart throws that have shown they have the talent, whether they're coming. J.K. Dobbins last year. Like last year, I lost Christian McCaffrey. I took him in majority leagues. I lost Christian McCaffrey in the beginning of the season. You know who carried me through the beginning of the season while my rookie receivers got going? Freaking J.K. Dobbins. You know where I drafted J.K. Dobbins? Like the last pick of the freaking, draft. Like he was free, And so like these players, whether it be a bum knee or whatever, and with Chubb, he's already come off a bum knee before. He did it in Georgia. You know, he came on, he got hurt again in the NFL. He came back again. You know, like some people just can do
it. His knees are just about gone.
And Mixon's so much better. Like Mixon's so much healthier and so much of a difference maker that Chubb can't. Right. So like it's just, and like same thing with D-Hop. Like Lamar has not had a receiver like D-Hop, and Lamar is the type like I could see them like D-Hop making one big catch in camp, and the next thing you know, they're buddies. Like, and Lamar just like tosses it up to him every time they're in the red zone. It's like Mike Evans stuff, just like go get it, or like Rodgers used to do with Adams, like just go get it, and giving them the opportunity.
Speaking of buddies in camp, Rodgers and Metcalf apparently are living together, so that could turn into something. I
got to get to Dan's team. Dan, yes. Genty is high risk, high reward. I think he's going to get a ton of touches. I love it. Lad McConkey is one of my favorite receivers in this group, and people keep saying like, "Oh, he's going to fall off," and I'm like, and if Lad McConkey does 100 less yards and 2 less,
I just don't know why he would fall off.
I wouldn't call it fall off. I think he's gonna not quite hit ADP.
But even the thing, if he stays the same, if he has the exact same production, which was like wide receiver 11, I'm happy. I think you're drafting him at wide receiver 9, but I think he gets there. Love that. Kenneth Walker is a high upside. It's kind of like that JT dynamic. Like if that's your if player. Like if it's strong.
The headache pick.
I love Zay Flowers. You look at Zay Flowers last year, 116 targets.
Well, he's gonna have to compete with D-Hop yards.
Yeah.
He's a different receiver than D-Hop. D-Hop's a red zone guy. Zay Flowers is an over the middle guy. And I think Zay Flowers is the reason that Mark Andrews didn't get as much work as he usually does last year. I like him a lot. I think that Jaden Reed was a good run, and I like Javonte too. But my favorite pick, and it's just because Mike McDaniels cannot keep running backs healthy, and A-Chain will get broken. The Jalen Wright pick in the round 15, I think he could end up being a stud for you halfway through the season and on.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's great mock draft. I love that the fact that we actually had real people drafting. So there were snipes. You couldn't really follow ADP. People reached rounds ahead of time to get their guys. It was a great draft. Thank you for being on, Brian, Hype. Let me actually throw y'all on the main screen here. If you would just kind of let people know where they can find your content. And then we'll wrap this thing up. Go ahead, Brian.
Yeah, mine. It's Too Much Fantasy Football is the show. You can find it over here on the Fantasy Football Advice Network. You're looking for me. It's at @too_much_Brian on X, Too Much Brian everywhere else.
Yeah, Dan Mater, Operation Domination, all of your podcast apps, everywhere on YouTube. Make sure you download us and subscribe to @FFAdviceNet.
Nice. I was watching some Operation Domination.
Dan has that voice.
He's got the voice for it, dude. Yeah, he's got the voice for it. Yeah. It's just Hype FFL on X and the Fantasy Advantage on YouTube. That's where I do everything right now, but hopefully expanding soon.
Yeah, looking forward to that. You guys know me. I'm here every week. I'm sure you're tired of seeing this face. Joe will be back next week to counterbalance that and provide a little bit of flavor. But thank you again for tuning in for our 2-hour mock draft. Hope you enjoy it. We will see you next week, 9:00 Central from the forum. Good night and good luck this year. We hope you win your home leagues. See ya.
We are here. FantasySportsAdvice.com, offering the best fantasy sports social media platform. Why join endless Discord communities or the trolls of Reddit? Fantasy Sports Advice is a community designed to help you win with 24/7 support. Go to FantasySportsAdvice.com and become a pro member for unlimited access. Again, go to FantasySportsAdvice.com today.